The guy who called the game along with Kevin Burkhardt in the booth. Tom Brady joins us right now, sticking around there at Soldier Field. Thanks for sticking around, Tom. I want to ask you, Caleb Williams, 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions, no sacks. What made it work today for him, maybe unlike it has throughout his first year plus?
Yeah, he played on time, in rhythm. Some of those explosive plays, like that flea flicker, blew me away because he obviously jumped, caught it one-handed, which was super athletic, and then drops a dime 65 yards in the air. So I think you see the potential, and the reality is now you just got to make that consistent over the course of the whole season. So played on time, in rhythm, found his guys. Ben Johnson delivered some, very characteristic Ben Johnson type offensive plays, guys wide open, and Caleb came through.
Yeah, we saw Ben Johnson go to reverses, gadget this, gadget that. But this was actually, Tom, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Eberflus's defense for the Cowboys is rush 4, play zone. If you don't have a pass rush and you have a quality quarterback and great receivers, you're going to see these kind of results all year long. But confidence for a young quarterback, you've been there, I've been there, when you can have this kind of game at home after going 0-2, got to do wonders for your team, right?
Yeah, well, they believe in you when you come through with these performances. 4 touchdowns, no picks, hits open guys, stands in the pocket, delivers throws under pressure. There's a lot of confidence. The whole team can really develop with Caleb in his style. And they had, a rough end of the season last year. You bring in Ben Johnson. All the hopes are high here in Chicago, and you get off to a slow 0-2 start. So they came home. They took care of business. Yeah, Dallas defense is definitely reeling. They're not great in the secondary right now. They've had a lot of injuries. They're not rushing the passer. But that's exactly what Chicago's offense needed to do to take advantage of it.
Hey, Tom, Caleb has been under a great deal of scrutiny throughout the course of the season. I think it probably hit the apex last week, losing to Detroit in really disastrous fashion. You talked about in the preseason how complicated it is for a young quarterback to digest an entirely new offense. Talk about the challenges of that.
Yeah, it's a great question, Howie. There's so much young development quarterback play that's happening. We're playing these quarterbacks at young ages before they're really, in my mind, developed, mature enough to understand the role and responsibility of being a QB1 for an entire franchise, an entire city. And that takes time to grow into that. And I think some of the greatest examples are guys that sat behind guys that really showed them the way. We can use Brett Favre as an example. Aaron Rodgers got to watch behind him. Then Jordan Love got to watch behind Aaron Rodgers. Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes, that dynamic. I got to watch Drew Bledsoe for a year. It was great for me. I could learn so much just by observing kind of things I like and things that I thought, okay, this is what I'll do a little differently if I ever get a shot. So we thrust them in there, and then what does a good head coach do, which I would obviously consider Ben Johnson that? It's kind of spoon-feeding him new styles of offense that Caleb hasn't really run. Caleb in college didn't huddle. He didn't motion. There was a lot of things that was very stationary offense. Here, that is a hallmark of Ben Johnson's offense. A lot of multiplicity, a lot of different formation variations. He's got to get up to speed, and they do that by layering on that information every single week. So they did a good job of that today. They're going to have to continue it as the season moves forward.
Hey, Tom, what's up, man? It's Gronk here. And before we talk some football and the Bears.
I love it when you tell him it's you.
Yes, I'm just sure he knows my voice, but I'm just making sure.
What's coming?
Before we get started, man, let's give some love to Julian, man. First ballot Patriots Hall of Famer today.
Yeah.
One of the best teammates that you and I ever had. One of the most clutch players to ever play the game, especially throughout the playoffs. What do you got to say about Julian, one of our favorite guys of all time?
I'm so happy for Julian, and that red jacket that I saw him put on as a Hall of Famer. He was so deserving, and I watched him grow from, this really young, special player, but didn't really find a role, and then challenge himself into becoming one of the most dependable, consistent players in the history of the Patriots organization, which says a lot. And just because he's got a Hall of Fame red jacket, Jules, doesn't mean I'm coming on your podcast yet. So chill out.
Oh, you're holding out.
You're going to have to do a few more things, all right, to get me on that frickin' podcast you keep asking me on. Just because you got the red jacket doesn't mean I'm jumping on the bandwagon.
What about the catch?
Will you come on my podcast then?
Maybe Robbie G for you, all right?
Everybody's got a podcast. Hey, looking behind you, You'll have no trouble getting out of there with traffic. Everybody's already gone. We appreciate you sticking around and joining us here on the OT. Thanks a lot, Tom.
Next week, brother.
Hey, guys, love my teammates at Fox. You guys are killing it. Love you in the pregame. All those things you talk about echoing me all game. Keep up the great work. Love you guys.
All right,
Thanks,
you
partner.
as well.
Good,
Keep up the great work
care,
there.
man.
All right, let's take a look back here at this game. And, you know, you talked a little bit about what this means for Caleb Williams as an individual. What does this mean for the Chicago Bears as a team as they try and get this thing turned around under Ben Johnson?
First of all, it's a win, okay? It's the coach has got a plan. He's implemented the plan. Now they're executing. You heard Tom say, a little layer at a time, a little layer at a time. Now they're going, oh, this works. Our quarterback can play. Oh, our quarterback can lead us from behind. And we're really good. This offense today, for all you viewers out there, this was all zone. This was not man. This was not blitz. All zone. Now we add a little, okay, now we're going to play some teams that can get after us a little bit. Detroit's going to be able to get after me. It's going to be blitz, a lot of man. Now let's see the growth of our quarterback at that. The thing is, they've got great receivers, and I love their tight ends, and we're going to see them be involved more and more in the offense.
And what does it mean for the Cowboys here, Howard? They got the Packers next week.
Yeah, and, you know, the irony of it is, you know, last week the defense looked so bad. And, you know, you thought Eberflus, you know, he knows the personnel, he knows the quarterback. It really didn't matter. And all the talk this week was there's no way we're going to give up the explosive plays. And sure enough, it was fireworks right off the bat. And for, I think, Chicago and Caleb Williams and particularly that team, you go to Detroit last week, you give up, 52 points. And, you know, it's a disaster.
Right.
It's divisional. It hurts. You got your butt whooped. To bounce back, and, you know, you got to get back on Wednesday. You got to work your rear end off and get ready for the next Sunday and hope for redemption, and I think it's a good step.
You're a tight end. Didn't you love playing against zone? There's so many holes, and especially if your quarterback has time.
Definitely. I was more of a man player, though, Terry, because I got to use my body, and that was my advantage, was my size, and I got to, you know, use the little flipper to get that separation. But zone coverage is great for, you know, to sit in the hole, especially when you have a quarterback like Tom Brady to be able to pick it apart. When you have it's more important for a quarterback to be able to read the zone than for a wide receiver, because the quarterback has to place the ball. But what I love about this game, Caleb Williams, 4 touchdowns, 300 yards, probably his best game of his career. But the most important stat on the stat sheet is that he was sacked zero times this game. He's been the most sacked player all last year. He's been sacked in the first 2 weeks a tremendous amount of times. And now he can build that trust with his offensive line. And when you can build that trust, then you can start winning games and become a better team on a weekly basis.
You see zones like they layered short, shallow. Okay, that held the linebackers, and then their second layer of routes were 20 yards deep. So that gave him ample opportunity to drop it over to those big holes back there. I thought he was fantastic today, Williams.
Hey, Gronk, I want to look at the Cowboys here. They're 1-2 right now. We talked already. They face the Packers next week. If their defense is going to play like it has the last couple of weeks, they need points on the offensive side. And they may have lost CeeDee Lamb for a little bit. We saw that ankle. He didn't come back after rolling it, and it was swollen, we saw on the sideline. Can they manufacture enough points to be in games without CeeDee if it's a while?
I don't think so, especially going versus the Green Bay Packers defense. I mean, Dak's doing a great job of getting the ball up in the air and letting the receivers go and make plays, but CeeDee Lamb is that guy. That's who he needs out on the field to go up and make those plays and high point the ball. He has a couple other guys, but they're not CeeDee Lambs. That's why he's one of the highest paid players in the game. But also, the Dallas Cowboys can't win games with this type of defense giving up, you know, this many big plays. I mean, how many plays last week they gave up that were over 30 yards? How many this week versus the Chicago Bears? Sure. I mean, this might build some confidence next week for Jordan Love, actually.
You can't, look, you rush 4, right, Howie? You rush 4 people. That's Eberflus's defense. Rush 4. Now, the people you're rushing, you're counting on them getting to the quarterback. If they get to the quarterback, now you got 7 covered. You got 7 out there on these layers, and they're playing zone behind it. Now you got an opportunity to double up and make interception. They can't do that right now.
The people that are patting you on the back the most during the week, if you're a good defensive line, are the DBs.
Yeah.
Because pressure equals coverage. And Micah Parsons not being a part of that defense has a ripple effect that I don't think they even foresaw. And so far, this coordinator hasn't worked. 2 weeks in a row, you're getting lit up on deep balls. If you just take that away and take the 20-yard reception, it changes everything. But your offense is under so much pressure right off the bat because you're down immediately, you're giving up big plays, big scores, and it's deflating.
Yeah.
In Eberflus's defense, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, he probably planned all offseason to have Micah Parsons.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, before week one,
sure they
he doesn't have him.
I don't think
Right.
Jerry
They haven't
consulted
adjusted.
him. Do you?
Yeah, they definitely have not adjusted.